Hi there, so welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I make beauty videos, lifestyle videos, fashion videos, and also mental health videos. And every Friday on my channel is Mental Health Friday. And this is Saturday when this is going up, so I'm really sorry. I've been struggling with my mental health a bit this week, so I'm a little behind schedule. I also didn't upload a video on Wednesday, which I'm really sorry about. I have a new editing system though, and I've been making some videos, so stay tuned for those. But anyways, let's just get right into this video. Today I'm going to talk about a topic that unfortunately a lot of people have dealt with, and that is toxic relationships. So this may be within friends, family, toxic relationship with substances, but in this case I'm going to be talking about toxic relationships within a romantic pairing. So this video might be a little touchy for some viewers, so if you worry that you might be upset by this content, feel free to abstain from watching this video. I do have some other mental health videos that you can watch. I have other ones planned, obviously, next Friday. Or you can watch some of my beauty videos. I just don't want anyone to be upset by this video. So I'm just putting a little disclaimer out there. Okay, so to get started, I'm just going to describe what I mean by a toxic relationship. So a toxic relationship may appear to be normal or even a loving relationship to those around, or even to the person in the relationship. It doesn't always look toxic from the outside. Like, you might be in one and not even really realize that you're in one. Maybe this is your first relationship and you just think that that's how things are supposed to go. So things like lying, cheating, unrealistic expectations, abuse, so this could be verbal, physical, or mental abuse, or a combination of those. Not being allowed to have a voice or an opinion, constant fighting, and feeling emotionally or physically drained are all signs of a toxic relationship. And I'm going to get a bit personal and talk about my experience with a toxic relationship, and then in another video I will explain what you can do if you or a friend or someone you know is in a toxic relationship. So yes, this part is just going to be my experience with a toxic relationship. I do have some other my experience videos up. I have my experience with anxiety, my experience with depression, and my experience with medication. I've only been in one serious relationship, and I think that contributes a lot to me not really realizing that it was toxic, because I had nothing to compare it to. I thought that that's just how things were. So I had just turned 18 around the time that me and my ex started dating, and I'm just going to give him a name. He's going to be referred to Drew anytime I ever mention him. So this one, we started to date, and at first I really did not want to be in a relationship. I am a very private person, and just the idea of a relationship was really not something that I was looking for. So around the time that we started going on dates, I was really struggling with my mental health. I had just been to Veld, which I am going to make a video about. It's going to be like my experience at Veld, another my experience video. But anyways, at Veld, I have mentioned this in other videos, I took MDMA. So I was feeling like really great at the time, and I sent him a text message because I was feeling like really confident and stuff, and I was like, so just so you know, we're only friends, like just remember that. And he got really, really upset and was like, wow, like what the heck. And at the time I was like, whoa, everyone should feel great and happy like me. So I messaged him back and I was like, I mean, we can go on a date if you want. And then he was like, yeah, wow, great, yeah. So this kind of sets off the whole, like, not really pushing boundaries, but just we didn't get off to a good start. So when I sobered up, I was feeling like pretty awful, and I was feeling pretty bad about having messaged him that, but I really didn't know what to do, so I just went on the date anyways, and we went to a movie. We went to see Kick-Ass 2, and I actually had a fun time. So I was like, okay, like, this isn't too bad. So I spent quite a bit of time with him after that, and it really helped to distract from my mental illness. He was really nice to me, treated me very well, and everything was going really great, and we started dating, and then things started going a bit downhill. So Drew was a smoker, and at that time it really bothered me, and after a bunch of him lying and hiding smoking from me, he finally decided to quit. He was also smoking a lot of weed to the point where he didn't remember things that we did together, and that bothered me. And also the whole panic attack situation that happened when I smoked weed just kind of made me feel really uneasy with the whole situation. So this was not a good start to the relationship. So we would have some really great times together, but then we would also have these really bad fights. And anytime I tried to bring up how I was feeling, he would just shut me out and refuse to listen and pretty much just say that I was acting really crazy. And he refused to acknowledge how I felt, and it made me really upset. So this went on for quite a long time, but then eventually we decided to move in together because he was going off to school and I was going off to school as well in the same town, so we decided let's move in together. So we moved in with a high school friend of mine, and things were going really well until the first day of my school when he tried to break up with me, which didn't really make sense to me because we had just signed a 1-year lease. So obviously I was against breaking up. I wasn't really sure what his problem was. He said that he wanted to experience college being single, and I was like, we just moved in together, so no. And then we decided to just try to make things work. And after this, I started to feel really insecure in the relationship, and I was worried that he had feelings for other girls at this time, just because why else would he want to be single during school? I don't know, that took a really big toll on my self-esteem, which also made it more difficult to leave a toxic relationship if you have low self-esteem and you're also stuck in a 1-year lease with somebody. So when I entered the relationship, I was a fairly happy, emotionally stable, and confident person, and when I left, I just felt very broken and insecure, and I had very low self-esteem, so the relationship really took a toll on my well-being. So we stayed together, but we fought a lot more, and we even almost broke up a few times again, but then we just stayed together because it kind of felt like at this point that we had to stay together. And my family could tell that something was up, and they brought the situation up to me, but I just took it as an attack on myself, and that didn't really help the situation at all. It kind of made me feel a little bit alienated from my family, and like he was the only person who really cared about me. Yeah. So my grandfather passed away, and I obviously was very upset by this, and I sort of retreated even more into myself, and I felt like my relationship with Drew was the only thing that I really had left, so I felt like I had to stay in it even though it made me very upset. So in February, which is a month after my grandfather passed away, I decided that I wanted to live in a new apartment because the apartment that I was in with Drew and our roommate was just making me feel really down. It just reminded me of bad memories, so I wanted to live somewhere else, and I brought this up with Drew and he seemed very excited by this and very supportive. So I found a place for us to live, and the only thing that was holding us back was we needed first and last month's rent. So I asked my grandparents for help, and they were totally happy and totally supportive of it, but they wanted to take us out for lunch the next day, and they also wanted to see the place, so I obviously agreed. And the next day was family day, so we went out for a nice lunch on family day, and then they gave us a check for our new place. So we had lunch, and it was amazing and exciting, and we were all super happy to be together and also to be able to move. And something that we had to do before Drew and I moved was clean the place for showings, and I was cleaning all by myself. He was not helping at all, and it had been like this throughout the whole relationship. So I brought this up to him. I asked him if he could help me, and he sort of just brushed it off, and then I told him again, okay, we're having a showing, so we need to clean. And he yelled at me saying, I don't even want to live with you. And then I asked him, obviously, what the heck, and he immediately just shut down and told me not to worry about it. But how was I going to not worry about my boyfriend yelling that he doesn't want to live with me when he's already living with me, and we're also about to go get a new place? And this is how the relationship ended, and we did stay in contact for a bit after the relationship ended, and I felt very broken, like I mentioned a bit earlier in this video. And Drew knew that and took advantage. So he asked me for money because he knew that I had extra money now that I was living with my parents, and he knew that I would give it to him. and I did. So it's been almost 2 years and he still hasn't paid me back. Every time I ask, he says that he's going to pay me within the month, and then he'll make up some excuse like he lost his job or he really doesn't have money to pay me, which is really annoying. He's also told me a lot of times that he doesn't owe me any money and that if anything I owe him money, and he'll take me to court about that, which does not make sense to me, because if he doesn't have money to give me, why would he have money for court? I don't know. So he has reached out to me a few times wanting to get back together, but eventually I was able to rebuild my confidence and rebuild my self-esteem enough to know that that's a terrible idea, so I said no. So getting back together into a relationship that I now know was toxic would have been a terrible mistake, and it's one that my friends and family did not let me make, and I am not letting myself make. I am not getting into another toxic relationship. That is just such a waste of time and not worth it for my well-being. So this concludes this video on my experience with a toxic relationship. So I do plan to make more videos and dive deeper into the topic of toxic relationships in romantic pairings, as well as the other type of toxic relationships I mentioned at the start of this video. So if you're interested in that, feel free to hit subscribe, and you can give this video a like, leave a comment, all that sort of stuff. And as always, I hope you guys have a great day and a great night, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.